Hello dear students, today we are going to start a new chapter, that is cell growth and aging. What is a growth? It is a process of increasing in size something that has grown or which is growing completely or which has grown completely, developed into a simpler or to a more complex stage is called as a growth. And coming on to the cells, there are certain cells like animal cells, they have a diameter of approximately 10 to 20 macrometer, and red blood cells, they are 5 macrometer in diameter. And what are the things that make up the cell? The cell contains nucleic acids, proteins, polysaccharide. All these things make up the cell, right? All these things help in the growth of an cell. As a result, there will be a growth of a complete organism. There are certain factors like chemical or the physical, biological factors that can affect the cell size. Okay, this is about the growth. In the further slides, we'll be studying how does a growth take place in a unicellular as well as a multicellular organism. Growth in unicellular organism. Before knowing its growth, let's see what is a unicellular organism. The unicellular organisms are those organisms that remain or they have only a single cell throughout their lifespan. And what is the growth regarding these unicellular organism is a process of reproduction. They undergo a reproduction in order to grow. Like they have a stepwise increase in size of the cytoplasm. Here you can see a cell in a G1 phase, and when it's entering into the G2 phase, there will be a increase in the cell size. Like that might be a increase in number of the ribosomes, mitochondria, and duplication of the organelles like chromosomes, centrosomes, cell nuclei, etc. And what happens is the nucleus achieve a certain size and it divides into a two daughter cells of a smaller size. Division is followed by the growth of the two daughter cells. Here you can see that divided and there will be a growth in the two daughter cells. This is a growth that takes place in a unicellular organism. The growth takes place until there will be a mature unicellular organism. So as we were discussing about the unicellular microorganism, depending upon its complexity, how the body of the organism is built and how does the reproduction takes place, depending upon that, the unicellular organism growth is also different. So different microorganism, for example bacteria, paramecium, all those things, they actually undergo a growth into a different process of asexual reproduction. And usually these multicellular organism reproduction is completely different from that of a unicellular organism. And these unicellular organism, as I said earlier, they undergo a division like asexual reproduction. And reproduction is a process or is a method of growth in a unicellular organism. In the further slides, we'll study different types of asexual reproduction in a unicellular organism, which is called as a growth of unicellular organism. So continuing the growth in unicellular organism, they actually grow by the process of reproduction. As I said in the earlier slides, the type of the reproduction they undergo is a asexual reproduction. In that asexual reproduction, there are different kinds like binary fission, budding, fragmentation, vegetative propagation, and sporogenesis. All of this we'll study in detail. Okay, there are several types of division or asexual reproduction by this
unicellular organism. First, we'll see what is a binary fission. In a binary fission, here you can see a parent cell which undergoes a division to form a two daughter cells. Okay, here the parent cell itself divides. This is one of the method of asexual reproduction which takes place where there is a growth of the unicellular microorganism. And one more thing here is a asexual reproduction, that is fragmentation. In a fragmentation, you can see that there is a dissection between the two plant or two cells, where you can see that after it is dissected, a new part of that particular cell is being obtained, and this is called as a asexual reproduction fragmentation, whereas their cut is called as a fragmented ends. Fragmented, and again there will be a regeneration of the same structure of that particular cell. Okay, again that undergoes a division, and where they form another complete unicellular organism. One more thing of asexual reproduction is a regeneration. Here you can see a lizard whose tail has been cut. After a few days it gets regenerated. This is one of the method of asexual reproduction. And one more thing is a budding. Here you can see that the yeast cell and developing buds that takes place upon or above the yeast cells. Here you can see that three yeast cells on that buds, called as a process of budding. And a vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation, it actually takes place in the plants, okay, through which a budding is a process of producing a individual plants, and the buds develop on the parent body. Okay, this is a about the vegetative propagation. Here you can see that it is cut and again it is inserted into the soil, and here as you can see that the cut part again it grows a regeneration, that is called as a vegetative propagation. One more thing, asexual reproduction, that is spore formation. Here in this the cells they form a spores. The spores are being released. See, these are the types of reproduction or a growth in unicellular organism that takes place.